Well, I'm just going to sit here and have a sip of my coffee. Oh, yeah. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling good? Getting those green candlesticks to the moon. But are they going to the moon? Well, we're about to find out. We're going to break down some charts today. We're going to break down some data. Because as emotional as this day is, and as emotionally as agnostic as we like to be sometimes, or want to be, we want to be data-driven. We got some charts to look at. We got to see, is this a healthy move? It feels good. It looks good. But is it going to be something that persists through, or are there things that we should be watching out for? Well, my name's Kelly Kellam. This is the BitLab Academy daily stream every day, 10 a.m. to 11:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Again, I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell. Let YouTube know that you like this sort of crypto content, because it helps YouTube promote more of this to the rest of the community. We're trying to grow adoption in this space. So by hitting that like button and the subscribe button, it lets YouTube know that you like this kind of content. So how's everybody feeling today? I put a poll in the chat. Let us know. Do you think this is a bull trap? Do you think we're going to 30K next? How are you feeling about it? Did you throw us in chat right now? Let us know what your born on date was. When was the first month and year that you made your first crypto purchase, whether it was $1, $10, $100, or $100 million, whatever it is. Let us know what your born on date is. Let me know where you're tuned in from. So we can build this community. So maybe you can connect with somebody in your local area. And let me know, did you buy the dip when we dropped down to that $19,500, $19,700 target that we had mapped out on this channel? Like, we mapped this out. Look at this golden box right here. Look exactly where this went into, right into the middle of this golden box, right into this golden pocket. If I'm going to zoom out on this a little bit, we could see right here, we got the golden pocket right here, right in this area. Also, this previous line of resistance now tested twice as support. How are you feeling about all of this? How are you feeling about what's going on in the charts? If you notice, I also adjusted some of this stuff on the chart layout. That price action thing at the top was just a little distracting. I don't think it was even big enough for people to see. So I made the viewing window a little larger, also so the charts could be a little larger, and so you could see this face for radio, as my mother calls it. No, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to see some positive action in the charts. So let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what you're doing with your own portfolio. Are you DCAing mostly into BTC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum? Or are you DCAing mostly into altcoins like Avalanche and Cardano? And what's your strategy right now? How are you dealing with what's going on in the markets? Well, let us know in chat. Let me know if you're seeing, if there's any issues with audio or video or anything here, because I changed the entire setup of the back end here on OBS, the streaming platform. So we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be going over a lot of different charts, not only Bitcoin, but also talking a little bit about the CPI data that came out. What does it mean? Why is CPI and the cost of goods, why is that impacting Bitcoin? Again, this channel here at BitLab Academy, this BitLab Academy daily stream is not only meant to show you what's going on each day on the chart and what give you sort of setups and targets, although that may be a part of it. The main goal of this channel is to bridge that gap from beginner to pro. So whether you are just beginning, whether you've been here for a few months, or you've been in for a few years, I guarantee you're going to find alpha on this channel. I'm going to teach you some things maybe you didn't know about, ways to interact with charting software like TradingView, how to set targets in new ways, how to use these tools, how to use Fibonacci's, how to read and use momentum on the charts to your advantage, how to understand the various different indicators. Not only our own BitLab trading stack, which I almost exclusively use now because it's such a great, basically all-in-one sort of trading package. Also, MACD and Bollinger Bands and RSI and everything that you need to know so that you can understand this market and navigate it in the best way for your own portfolio. So with that being said, again, Happy hallelujah. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? Let me know in chat. I want to get this chat ripping today. Oh, and another absolute huge sort of warms my heart, if you will. It's like my heart is just beating through my chest right now. We've got this channel up in a little over about 6 weeks, right at 6-7 weeks. We're already over 5,000 subscribers here on the channel, and that's thanks to all of you that are here in chat. So to help this grow, I mean, every time you hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button and ding that bell, it helps build this community, which means the stronger communities we build within this crypto ecosystem, the stronger the crypto adoption and ecosystem is as a whole. It's not just this channel. It's Frankie Candles. It's BitBoy Crypto. It's Tom Crown. It's Investing Bros. It's Scott Melker. Wherever you're watching, I support all of these different channels, even people that have different viewpoints from mine, because we need different viewpoints. We need to have open, honest, positive sort of debate and discourse about what's going on in the market. So it's good to have all these different channels, and any crypto channel that you're watching, even if you're also watching over at the 24/7 Hit Network channel. Shout out to you all. Make sure that you go and you check out bitlabacademy.com, and you also come over and check out the BitLab Academy YouTube page. You know, whenever you get that extra second, you can find that right here at youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And as you can see right here, we just made it over 5,000 subs. So shout out to all of you in chat. Huge appreciation, huge thanks. I really appreciate all of you here in the community. And a quick shout out before we jump into all these charts we're going to be going through. Shout out to my boy, Matt C., who's been with me for the last few years, been in my community, or we've been in each other's communities, I should say, through the various channels I've been on. You know, back when I was on Crypto Jab, I was a main sort of personality on there, also behind the scenes, also helped build out Club DeFi there. You know, also Justin Eubanks, Alex Green as well. We got a Mellow Fellow, shout out to Mellow Fellow, Crimson Caravan Company, Alexandra G, Karen Swigart Harris, Panda Storm. We got so many people in here. Mitch Shaw, my boy. We got a great community here. Blazing 2JZ, or Blazing 2Js. I bet that's what it's supposed to be. Gene Steinke, man, we got such a good community here. Shout out to everybody. And again, I'm going to say it one more time, just because we're trying to grow this community. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell, because we are growing this community, baby. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the charts today. And also, we're going to look at some of the different things that I've seen on Twitter. The Twitterverse, the crypto Twitterverse is one of the most underrated and underutilized things, I think, for people that either don't have a Twitter account or just maybe they only use it for other things. But I find so much good. I mean, I specifically only use Twitter for crypto. So I just want to kind of shout out there. Now, Caleb Franzen, another previous guest that we've had here on the channel, and he's a good friend of mine in the crypto ecosystem. He says here, the February 2023 data confirms that the big flip hypothesis is not describing reality, as the U.S. economy is firmly within disinflation on a year-over-year basis, not deflation. This is a big distinction. Disinflation. Month-over-month inflation is likely to persist for the time being, but year-over-year disinflation is the trend. Now, this is something that, you know, for instance, Jerome Powell, the Fed, all those that are behind monetary policy, trying to figure out how to tackle what's going on with inflation, what's going on with the rising cost of goods, and, you know, contending with, is that specifically because, you know, the runaway money printing that went on through all of 2020 into 2021, and that, you know, for global economic shutdown. So it was necessary. Was it necessary? There's nothing really to debate there. It happened. So all we can do is Check, 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 check. Can you hear me? Should be good now. I think there is an issue there. I don't have my sound card with me today, so this is plugged in directly through USB, and when it's plugged in directly through USB, when I move this mic, I must have accidentally hit this mute button right here. My deepest apologies. I'm not going to go backwards there. Essentially what I'm saying is there's a lot that we're looking at right now. Give me a thumbs up in chat if everything is all good. Okay, back on. So sorry about that. We're all good. You know what? Changing, you guys can't tell sometimes when I'm at my house back in New York or when I'm in studio. I am in the studio here in Atlanta. I'm back here doing that final polish up on all of the, you guys don't understand how much content that I've been filming for the new BitLab Academy, from understanding all the different types of candlesticks, candle patterns, psychology of trading, trading fundamentals. I mean, a long list of trading strategies, a whole like indicators. And I don't just mean our indicators. I mean RSIs, stochastics, MACD, Bollinger Bands, VPVR, volume, money flow, all these things that are necessary to really get a broad view of understanding the technical side of looking at these charts, having a good understanding of what's happening within price action, so that you can have a good and profitable, consistently profitable trading experience and investing experience with crypto. And not only that, that's just the trading side. We also have a blockchain 101 course, Bitcoin 101, Ethereum 101 as well. And as the year goes on, over the next year and a half, 2 years, we're not going to stop filming. This is just the first round of massive updates that with all new courses, all new content, as well as a brand new website that will be starting to be, basically we're rolling it out starting the 3rd week of March, which is, I mean, basically next week. So we are running as fast as we can, and I'm just here filming a lot of that stuff. So that's why I'm back and forth between New York and Atlanta. I'm doing that for all of you so we can make sure people can understand it's not just these daily streams, but it's also in-depth, broken down lesson by lesson, structured sort of framework for people to understand how to understand and navigate this market. Now, jumping back into the charts. I do not know why my mic got muted. My apologies there. So we're tackling what's going on with this narrative around inflation and disinflation. So we're going to come over here to forexfactory.com/calendar, and we could see right here. This was Tuesday. And we could see right here. So this came in. This is the actual. This first column. This is the forecast. What people were forecasting. And this is last month's. This third column here. Now scrolling down to where we're at today. The forecast was 6%. We came right in at 6%. So why did this send the price rocketing today? This sent the price rocketing today because everything is on that sort of cliff's edge. Everything's on that knife's edge about what's going on in regards to, is it risk on or risk off behavior? Markets move based on forward-looking speculation. So if the CPI comes in higher than expected, then that has impact on what people are going to do with their money and potential not only layoffs, people lack of liquidity in the market because things cost more. And so when now we're seeing, even though that this did not come in a better than expectation, better than forecast, this does suggest that, okay, at least we're not moving in the wrong direction anymore. And can we just get a hello, happy hallelujah that Bitcoin was born out of the 2008 banking crisis, the 2008 housing crisis, white paper written, and then 2009, or January 2009 is when Bitcoin was first actually fully released into the wild, if we want to call it that. And now we're at the same sort of predicament that we were back then, obviously spurned by different things. are spawned by different stimulus now in terms of why we're in the same sort of environment with banks collapsing, with runaway inflation, with mismanagement of funds, mismanagement from centralized banking authorities. And if we come here, I actually did a tweet yesterday in regards to this. And look at this, I finally broke 20,000. I was up against resistance on 20,000. It looks like we finally broke through that. So shout out to everybody. Make sure you're following me here at Kelly Kellam, which is Kelly Kellam. I share a lot of charts here and just information on what's going on within the markets. But right here, this is what Bitcoin was born from: the mismanagement of centralized institutions run by executives who choose to take risks with your assets for their own gain. And typically when they do this, and this happens in every bank around the world, and this is how they make their money. You put your money in their banks. It is no longer your money. You no longer own the money once you put the money in there. Same thing we saw with Celsius. That's why that court ruling came down that if you put your money on Celsius, technically speaking, under law, it was not your money any longer. It was Celsius's money. Of course, you have an IOU for that money, whether or not you get paid back or not. This is why these centralized institutions are so flawed. They take your money and then they speculate with your money. They lend out your money to other people and charge interest on it. So they're making money off the backs of you. And so let's continue with this. With Bitcoin, you can control your assets rather than be controlled by those who control your assets or your fiat money. Bitcoin was designed to be self-sovereign. And by being involved in Bitcoin, being involved in crypto, and make no mistake, Bitcoin and crypto, I like to categorize as two different things, because with Bitcoin, it is in and of itself almost, I don't want to call it the father of the crypto ecosystem. It's not quite that, because there were other smaller projects before that did not make it through, but Bitcoin is the penultimate crypto asset within the crypto ecosystem. But I like to have the distinction between Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto ecosystem, because Bitcoin is very different than Filecoin or AVAX or the Graph. Most other altcoins serve utility to drive functions utilizing blockchain technology, whereas Bitcoin's function is to be a transactable store of value. So we don't need to go too in depth on this, because we want to get into these charts. We want to look at what's going on with these massive green candlesticks. So we're going to continue moving forward. And shout out to the entire mod team. We have this private Discord. That's what it was dinging in my. That's why I have this earphone in. When there's a screen not being shared or a mic that's muted, they send me a bunch of dings on there. I was like, oh, so I'm glad that we figured that out. I'm glad we sorted that out. So shout out to everybody there. Now, looking at what's going on, I'm just going to look here. Did anybody buy the dip? Let me know if you bought the dip when we were down there in that, sub 20K range. Did you take advantage of that? Did you take advantage of that sort of region? Or were you already positioned from earlier? That would be nice too. Or are you waiting for a little bit of resolution? None of these strategies are right or wrong. It all is predicated on what your own trading strategy and risk exposure level, risk tolerance level is. So I'm just going to zoom this down a little bit so I can see this. It's very hard to see with these small screens. Okay, now here we go. So we're going to continue on here. Now, what I want you to notice is there's a lot of fractals that are out there that are starting to allude to a very similar sort of situation that we're in now. This is from Stock Money Lizards, which you can find at Stock Money L, and they have great content. And we can see this sort of setup with this sort of A pullback, B pullback, C establishing this zone of resistance, and then complete breakthrough. And we can see very similar setup here. A, this is 2023. A, this should be B. I don't know why he has it as A again. A, B, and then the second pullback is actually deeper on this one, but we're at this zone and, pushing up in this region here, is essentially where we're at now. And we need to really look at what price action is doing from here on out. Because I guarantee you, if we look at the liquidations levels, that there's a lot of liquidations that took place. And I actually have an indicator, a free indicator that I found on Twitter, a free indicator that I found on TradingView that really helps identify the liquidations right in your chart, so you could see how much of the volume was liquidations versus actually people, healthy volume buying in. And the reason why this is important is because when we're looking at this price action, when we look at this price action where we get this rocket to the upside, if this is people buying because, Bob and Steve and Lucas and Leah and Ashley and Frank and everybody's buying, and this is a healthy movement to the upside, then this gives a lot more, I don't want to call it clout. This gives a bit more faith in the health of that movement. This is why, if anybody's heard of a BART pattern, if anybody's heard of a BART pattern, it is this right here. This is when essentially, it's a very kind of silly sort of reference to Bart Simpson, but we can see these sort of patterns as they play out, where you get this very quick drop down, accumulation, and very quick push up. And this is very highly related to having a lot of longs that are here that get liquidated. So a lot of longs, and as soon as they get liquidated, the price pushes down. They're forced to sell, and you get this cascading liquidation to the downside. Then you get a sort of healthy accumulation, and then you get a lot of people wanting to go short, and then you get there's also no price activity in these regions, and so then price action moves very quickly back up. This very similarly happened if we look back not too far back. What do we see right here? We see liquidations. This is the FTX debacle. This is not only people selling, there's also a lot of liquidations that was right in here. Then we get that accumulation to the side, and because there's no price interactivity right in here, we have a very quick price action zoom up to the top here. Now, where we're at right now, if it's very interesting, we can see that we're getting a very quick move to the upside. Now, I just want to show you that we have this sort of channel here or broadening wedge. Kind of depends on how you draw it, depending on the wicks or the bodies, but same sort of effect here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend this out, and we can see that this is actually coming into this zone, starting to find a little bit of resistance. Now, when we want to identify whether or not this is going to continue, we want to look to some of those data points that we were talking about, like some of the indicators that we can utilize, momentum indicators, strength, stochastics, as well as that liquidation data. So we can double click on the chart and let's see. Okay. Come on. You can work for me, baby. There we go. So we can see this liquidation by volume. We can see here that a lot of this has been liquidation by volume because there's a lot of shorts that were coming in right here, predicting that we were going down, which if you were using the BitLab trading stack, which is the BitLab Market Intelligence, BitLab Hidden Volume, the BitLab Relative Extremity, the BitLab Significant Movement, you could see that we came into a zone of very oversold, underbought, this blue zone right here, which was perfectly confluent with this golden pocket, which was perfectly confluent with this previous resistance and support. And we see this blue zone here. This gives a lot of strength to the idea that we would have a bounce here. And now we're looking here on the daily. So if we were to zoom into this on the 4-hour, we could see this blue zone was coming all the way into here. We could see right here, this was oversold all the way through here. And so once we get this low pivot, that's a very strong sign that we are likely going to be pushing up. We do push up, and because we did go below this line, we came back, retested it, went to the upside. Now, when we're talking about this price action coming right here, this is what we want to know. That we want to know, is this healthy? Because it's not just Bitcoin. It's not just Bitcoin. If I press Option, if you're on PC, it would be Alt. If I click on this, I can go to my multi-screen view. Look at Algorand, ripping. Filecoin, ripping. Cardano, ripping. Come over here. AVAX, ripping. Gala, ripping, Filecoin, HBAR. I mean, the market is feeling exuberant right now. Now, if we come over back to specifically Bitcoin, as it is a great barometer on what's going on within the crypto ecosystem, we can see that this move right here, could this move, where can we expect this move to potentially have resistance at? Now, if you remember, a few weeks ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I redid all my, I basically cleaned up a chart, and I went from a chart that was marked up. I had spider lines on it. I still have that chart. And if we go to this chart, I think it is it this one? No, it is this one right here. Okay. Now, I did not change anything on this chart. Now, what I want you to notice, on this chart is you see this. I'm going to make this a lot brighter. If we see this right here, let's go ahead and make this very bright and very thick. Okay, we can see this dotted line. Look at the level that the price action essentially pushed up to and is finding, resistance in the zone. This 26,000, basically this sort of region. This sort of region, I get nervous now every time I get a ding from Discord. We see this region was a likely zone to have some sort of price interactivity. Now, what is this line? This line is a extended ray, basically a projected sort of support and resistance line based on price action all the way back from 2018, 2019, 2020. And we can see here, let's go to the 3-day. Let's go to the 12-hour. So we could see this was all the way back from 2019 into 2020. So we take this sort of fulcrum point right at the top of basically a candle at the top of this peak, and we basically take this ray. Essentially, we go like this, and we lay it onto the first candle that it touches. And that is how we basically get this trend line from here to here, and we project that trend line way out into the future. And we can see that it's probably very dim on your screen, but there's quite a few of these that I've done. I'll do another one that's a bit brighter so you can see it. And we can see that these trend support, basically these levels of resistance, establishing these levels of resistance all the way back here. And this is not even when any of this had played out. This is just, right here when this happened. Okay, I projected a ray out. Now, as a couple of years went by. Look at this. This provided perfect support on this level as the price was breaking down. Now, where we're at right now, I'm going to turn off this VPVR because it is annoying me. There we go. We can see that this specific line has been resistance, support, resistance. Now, it's very likely that this was going to be resistance. So this does make sense. Now, this does also show that we have a very broadening wedge right here. Option T. We could go like this, and we don't even need to do the bottom one because we have this sort of massive megaphone, as you can see right here. So we need to be careful about follow through here as to this line right here. Now, everybody was saying 25, the 25.3, this 25,250. This was the line, and once we pass it, we may go straight to 30K. Well, there's always going to be, if you take a different lens and look at different things within the chart and really not have a myopic view on the chart. Don't just do price action. Have a chart where you are just doing these sort of levels of previous tops. Have another chart that you're doing just Fibonacci's. Have another chart you're doing patterns, and you can get a unique view on the different levels that each one of those present. And then for somebody like me, I've been in trading and investing and in crypto for years and years. So I can have a chart like this that looks completely indecipherable to many people, and I can see all these things play out. But this is also why I make this other chart, basically for like a show like this, where we do it a lot simpler, and we can see that this projected out right here Also, me being aware of the other chart that we had where that 26K was a likely sort of zone, we need to pay attention to this level right here. Now, will we get a pullback? Well, it's very likely. A critical level is going to be on this pullback. If we do get a pullback, if we get a rejection off this zone right here, which would be perfectly in line with that that projected sort of spider line, that ray that we had on the other chart, which is right here in this 26.5, 26.7 level. This is also perfectly in line with this resistance level that we have here. If we get a rejection off of this, I'm going to go ahead and actually change this to that. If we get a rejection off of this and do something like this and find support in this region right here on the 25,000, 25,200 and continue to the upside, this is what the bulls want to see. This is something that will confirm a bullish narrative, but we still have this entire region right here directly above us. So I want everybody to be patient, to have a plan, because without planning and patience, you cannot have profits. You may get one that you knock out of the park, and I've done it before, where I'm laying in bed and I'm waiting on a trade, and you know what, I do a trade, I just made $14,000 on this one trade. And then you get high on yourself. You get high on this win that you have. So then you do another trade and it doesn't go your way. So then you do another trade and it doesn't go your way. And then you're mad that you're losing the money that you won. So then you kamikaze trade and lose all the profits that you had. And I don't want you all to do that. I don't want you to suffer the same stupidity that I did, for many years ago, that I have learned from. That's the point of being involved in a community like this, so we can share our errors, so that we all can see those errors in our path and go and see those errors, other people's paths, and sidestep those errors and actually make profits without having to learn the lessons the hard way. So my point with all this being is Bitcoin and crypto feels like the bulls are absolutely unleashed. It feels like all's good and we can go straight to 30K. But I want to preach caution, because when we see what's happening right above us, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off this brush here and come back to my crosshair. When we I'm going to go to the 3-day. If we look at what's going on here, we still have, this is a very key level. Now, how key level is this? And this is a trick I want you all to take to heart. How much of a key level is this? Well, we see I have a red band here. So why is there a red band? Well, let's zoom out a little more. Oh, well, it looks like there's a lot of price interactivity that has been here in May of 2022. But then also this has been in support all the way from May of 2021, middle of May of 2021, all the way till nearly the end of July. So 3 months worth of support there. And then a year later was also support and resistance here. And then all the way January of 2021, a lot of support here as well. So this level is nothing to just trifle with. This is not to say we broke 25,300 and so we are going back to 50K. That's not how this works. It very well could do that, but I guarantee you if it went in the next 3 days from here to 50, I would short it with everything I have, because that is not a healthy move. Things move down as fast as they move up. So what we want to see with this sort of price interactivity, with this action, is we want to see price. Let's come back down. Let's go to the 4-hour. So we want to see price action. We want to look at our different indicators. We can see this is, this has been overbought. Overheated, I should say, coming into this move. And that makes sense, because we had a lot of just sort of chop and, this very quick movement to the upside. Once we get into a very bullish narrative, things can remain overheated for quite a time being. But we want to take note of this on the significant movement, and we want to look for other signals that we may be getting a pullback. Now, in the case of using the BitLab trading stack, are the relative extrema bars sticking outside of this cloud? And by the way, we've got some great updates coming to the BitLab trading stack where we're going to be integrating so when these bars are sticking out, when we are getting some of that unhealthy movement, there's going to be some things we're doing on the price action bars so you can see that unhealthy movement directly on the bars themselves. So I'll tell you more about that as that draws nearer. It's going to kind of be in line when we roll out all the new updates for BitLab Academy. And if you haven't yet, anybody watching, if you have not, come over to bitlabacademy.com, sign up for the newsletter right here. You get entered to win a free month of the access to the courses and the indicators, and you get free alpha. I send out some charts. I send out some thoughts on what's going on in the market. And also, if you are interested in the indicators, come over to bitlabacademy.com/indicators. You can also sign the same thing. It's the same email address there. And you can sign up, get involved, because these indicators we use, they really are a combination of everything that you could utilize. Now, looking at this from the traditional standpoint, using the indicators that are built into TradingView, for those of you that don't have the trading stack, I want everybody to have the ability to understand what's going on in the markets. So we got, here we have the MACD. We could see essentially this. And just a quick lesson here, when you're looking at the MACD, these bars that we're seeing here, this is called the histogram. This is merely a measurement of the difference, the space between these two moving averages. We have a faster moving average, which is a blue line, and a slower moving average. This is why it's called the MACD. It's a moving average convergence divergence. And so you could put in realistically not even look at these lines and just look at this histogram bars, because you're seeing the space between these. See how this gets wider and this gets taller, and then as this rolls over, you also see this closing down here. So, but my point here is we're seeing that the MACD is expanding in momentum to the upside. As these are getting green, it's trying to pull back a little bit, which we see right here, and then expands, darker green again. And so we are starting to see this roll over a little bit. So this makes sense as we're coming into this zone, this level of resistance. But we are seeing the RSI now. This is good. We're on. Let's actually go to the daily just for general strength. We have the RSI now. It was dropped all the way down to 30, where it was right here, and we're getting it up to the 68 level. So what we want to see now. We see the MACD flipped green, great. We see the RSI pushing up around 65, 68. And we see the stochastics all the way here at the top. Now, what we want to see in this area, it was, as I was talking about with the pullback, when this reaches this zone, if this does not blast through this, if we do get a pullback, what we want to see is we want to find support somewhere in this region, and at minimum, we got to come down here, do option F for our Fibonacci, go bottom to top. Now, I do not particularly want, and this could happen, I particularly don't want to see the price action pull all the way back to this golden pocket. Now, the crypto and Bitcoin and assets have a pretty high hit rate on pullbacks to come back to this golden pocket. However, in times of shifting trend momentum, when things have been very choppy, then very much so I would be counting on this to pull back to this 0.61865 golden pocket zone. If the momentum is shifting very bullishly, then having a pullback to something like the 382, or not even getting back to this and finding, because this has been such contentious resistance at this level here at the 24,800, 25,000 level, then I would really like to see price action. If the bulls are taking over, I want to see price action pull back to somewhere in this region here, basically. And we could see the reason I do it all the way down to this level, this 382 is also in line. This 382 is also in line with this price action top right here. We can see If I do option J, we get this line right here. It's perfectly in line with this 382. So what I would be wanting to see is on this pullback, if we get a rejection here, that the price holds somewhere in this 382 level or above it, and basically bounces from here as I drew out earlier, basically bouncing down somewhere in here, coming up, getting rejected, and then breaking through. Sometimes I hate the auto feature on these charts. Yeah, basically breaking out something to that respect. Now, when this happens, when this pullback starts to happen, one of the ways we can gauge the level of strength within the Bitcoin market is, as this gets rejected and this comes into this region, does the RSI, does the relative strength break back below the 50 line? And a lot of times I'll even go in here, option H, I'll put a line right about where the 50 line is. Does this come back down and get rejected on the 50 line and stay below it? If so, more likely than not, the price action actually is not as bullish as we want it to be. Excuse me. And we are going to see price action come back and retest these lower levels again. So what we want to see is this price action to have a small sort of a bull flag would be the best bet. Have a, basically a bull flag in here where we get this sort of rejection, sort of, deal. And then our sort of, there we go, our continuation to the upside, in which case, then we could look at our bull flag measurement, also considering we have that huge level of resistance above us. But my point being about the strength, when we do get the small pullback here, if we come back down here on the 4 hour, we want to see as the pullback happens, we want to see the stochastics also mosey their way down as low as possible while price holds as high as possible. Because the further down the stochastics go, the more sort of room to run the price has, the more it's almost like you have more gas in the tank, because this has gotten down to a level to where there's a lot more room to continue running. So once we get a little bit of a pullback here, and it's not the end of the world if this does not reset down a little bit. And this is on the stochastics. This is not the stochastic RSI, which is similar, however, calculated a bit differently. We want to see the RSI hold basically somewhere above the 50 line, and we want to see the stochastics pull back as far as possible while the price does not break below that 382, if we are going to be seeing a more than likely continuation to the upside on Bitcoin. Now, I want to just take I should change my chat name to Clawback Crowd. I'm going to go read a little bit of the chat here. Just because I've been, we have extended the show. We are doing 10, as close to 10 as possible every day is the goal. Of course, some mornings I'm traveling. That's why yesterday I started at 10:15. We're going from 10 to about 11:35. And I did that because I want to also not just run through stuff the entire time. I want to be able to engage with you all here in the chats. I want to know what's on your mind. What are you feeling about this? It's looking like, let's go ahead and close this poll. I want to see where we're at on that poll. Does it give me the number? So 30K next, 54%, bull trap, 45%. All righty. Well, that's a pretty even mix. I do think that I think that's probably a pretty good measurement there in terms of what we're going to get. Is anybody taking profits at these levels? Is anybody? And I want people to know, as we're looking at this chart and we're seeing these green candlesticks, this is not the time to say, "Oh, I'm missing the move," and you get in somewhere right in the middle of one of these. I'm going to mute this. Right in the middle of one of these green candles, because what does that mean if you do that? That means you don't have a plan. That means you don't have patience, and that means you're not going to have profits over time. Because if you continue doing that, That's when you do that. That's the situations that people do where you're buying in the middle of a green candlestick, and then that furthers your conviction that every time I buy, the market goes the opposite direction. You want to wait for having, okay, we're reaching a level of resistance. Okay, what are the targets that you have? I just outlined some, but what are the targets that you can identify that whether you learn them from me, whether you learn them from Frankie Candles, whether you learn them from Traders Reality, everybody has their own style and they all work for them. And you've got to piece together the style that works for you. Because as Tino from Traders Reality said, and I loved it, you know, you could have an absolute perfect strategy that works for you. And you could teach 4 different people that strategy. You could have one person use your strategy and have a 100% hit rate with you. You could have another person have a 100% fail rate. And you could have the other two, be 30-70, another one 60-40, because we all have a different mind. We all contend with our emotions differently. We all contend with what we need the market to do versus what we can do to manipulate, drawing out from the market what we need it to do. Because if you're trading the money that you just got for a birthday check or your paycheck, and you're like, well, I just learned this strategy on BitLab Academy, or I just learned this from name anybody. I'm going to go and double this. That way I can pay rent and I'll have some extra money to pay this other bill. It's in those moments when you do that you lose it all and you're not able to even pay your rent or take care of your family. So I want you to develop your strategy, and that's why we break down these strategies here on the here on this stream, and that's why I want to encourage you to watch other people as well and draw together a strategy that works best for you. But most importantly, I want you to practice your strategy, whatever strategy you have. I want you to practice your strategy with a small amount of money at first, whether it's $5 or $10 or $100. And do trade after trade and execute specifically on those things, and write down in a journal what you were feeling when you took that trade. Did you just get in a fight with your brother, your sister, your husband, or your wife? Or are all things good? Did you wait for the setup? Did you see the setup coming before you took the trade? As silly as these things sound, every experienced trader that's made money has done this at some point in their life. They have taken the time, they have taken the diligent effort to go through and meticulously figure out and craft what the strategy is that works for them. And the only way you can do that is if you document your journey as you go, so you can see what's winning over time and you can see what's not winning over time. And, if you're in the middle of your workday trying to capitalize on this trade on 70x leverage, you're going to have a bad work day because it's not going to work out for you. And I don't want that to happen to you. So we're going to go over a lot of different coins today. We've got quite a bit of time left. Man, shout out. There's so many people in chat right now. I just want to shout out to everybody in the chat. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Drive that like button up. We got 275 people in here and only 100 likes. Hit the like button. We're spending all this time building this community for you, and I want you to be part of this community and be a part of it. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee now. I'm waiting for 30 more likes so we can get this going. Do it. Hit that like button, baby. I also just needed a sip of coffee because I didn't have any breakfast this morning. All righty. So let me know in chat. Tell me a bunch of coins. What are you feeling like? What are you looking at? What's something, just start spamming in the chat what the coins you want us to go through. I'm going to try and go through as many as possible. We're going to see some potential levels that we can look at. And as you do that, I'm just going to give a couple more realistic targets on Bitcoin. Some realistic ones and some hopium ones, and we can see what's going on here. And then as soon as I start seeing a lot of those things popping up here in the chat, then we will start. We will break down a bunch of different coins, and we'll talk about the strategy behind them. Because as Bitcoin pumps, you might see some of the dominant shift from altcoins to Bitcoin, meaning liquidity is going into Bitcoin rather than all those altcoins. And you might see those pump a little slower, but I want you to make sure that as This goes back to having a plan. I want you to make sure that you're not just jumping from moving train car to moving train car. You're holding this coin and, it's not moving. So Bitcoin starts moving and you don't have a plan, but because you see it moving, you jump into Bitcoin. But then the second you jump into Bitcoin, it stops moving and that coin you just got out of starts rocketing. This is why you need a plan, and this is what we're talking about. This is what we're breaking down on this channel. We're here to make money. We're here to show you strategies as a community and share our strategies so we can do it. So let's go ahead and do another fib here. We're going to go, where are we going to go from to do this metric? So we can, this is going to be, okay, we're going to do it from right here. Boom, option F. We're going to go there to the bottom. Now we can see we're now also, I didn't even notice this earlier, we're now also in this golden pocket zone right here. So if we break through this, this is a good sign. The next level is exactly, basically just shy of that 30K mark that everybody's hoping we can hit that 30K mark. But 786, which is also just at the bottom side of this range right here. So I'm looking at my next target, if we do break out of this, is some sort of price interactivity if we don't rocket right through it at the 28,136 level. So we need to keep an eye on this entire zone, basically from 28,000 to 31,500. This zone right here is huge macro support back here, and here it is huge macro resistance. So we need to keep an eye on this level. As exciting as this price action is right here, we want to make sure that this isn't just a fake out to the upside, only to rocket back to the downside. Now, the last look here at the BitLab Trading Suite, we do see. Look at this. We got this is a little bit concerning. We've got 5 bearish divergences. Look at the last time we had 5 bearish divergences. We ended up having a, let's see, a 20% fall. So we have 5 bearish divergences, but this is also coming in right at this golden pocket. We got the bearish RSI divergence, bearish stochastics, bearish momentum, bearish on balance volume, bearish hidden volume. We have the extrema sticking out. This blue is flashing to red. So we're having all the signs that a pullback is likely to happen. Every price action movement that you see in a chart gives you an indication of what the market dynamic is, of what the market psychology is. So this doesn't mean it's the end of the world. What this means is we're likely going to get a pullback or sideways action. And are we going to get a healthy pullback, which is something, as we just discussed, into this region, coming back up, something like that, or are we going to get something that basically comes like this and comes back down? We have to protect ourselves, and this is why you just don't, in these zones, just go and do 75x leverage, go do 40x leverage, go and do even 15x leverage. Right now, we need to let the trend determine itself. So as it stands right now, we want to basically see, are we going to hold at this level, 24,000? Are we going to hold above 24,500? I mean, the best would be to hold above 25,000, but are we going to hold above this level, 25,400? If not, then I'm looking at lower targets. If we do break out from here, then I'm looking at something in the region of somewhere in the middle of this 30K level. Now I'm going to look at my Discord here for a moment because let me see if there was a list. There's no list yet, but I did see a bunch of, okay, yeah, I see a bunch of the coins. So we're just going to go through a bunch because I have several of them up already. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're going to look at, man, look at Algorand. Algorand. Shout out. If you are an Algorand holder, throw an algo in chat. Let me know you're an algo holder. I got into algo, somewhere. I can actually even show you. I have, you know what? I changed my charts. I had a green line on where I got into it. I got into algo somewhere around like the 13.75 or something like that. Somewhere in this region here. So I was excited when it cut back to this level to DCA a little bit more. But where we're at today, all right, let's go ahead and look at this. We're going to do some TA, and we're going to walk you through how to do this TA. I don't want to just do TA for you all and give you signals, okay? I want to throw that rope back to anybody that's a beginner trying to figure out how the heck this, how to figure out what the heck is happening in charts. Some people think TA doesn't work. That just means they don't know how to do TA correctly. TA is not a guarantee. And what I mean by TA is technical analysis. Finding those lines of support and resistance, finding those patterns, identifying levels, key levels of interest of where price might likely go, where it might likely get rejected from, where it might likely find support, meaning stop falling and bouncing at a certain level. Doing TA really can give you a map of probable areas of price interactivity, price support and resistance, so that you can have a roadmap, so you can have healthy risk management, so that you can navigate the market consistently, profitably, and healthily on a daily basis. Because even Crypto Burb, Adrian, who we had on this channel last week, he loses about 65 to 70% of the trades that he's in. And yet he's a multi-millionaire because he has such tight risk management, and he has a certain strategy that he uses that the ones that hit they knock it out of the park. But he's not doing 55x leverage. He's picking key specific targets based on support and resistance on certain pattern structures and other data points that he utilizes to identify when the probability is in his favor. And with the risk management in place, it's okay if you lose a few because you're losing 1%, 1.5%, 3%. But then the trades you're winning, you're doing 140%, 70%, 35%, on and on and on and so forth. So I just keep getting so nervous. I'm going to hit the mute button on accident. So let's look at this. So we can see we've got a bit of a trend line here. We're going to do very fast TA on all these. Now we want to go from I'm not going to go all the way from the top of that wick. I'm going to go from right here. Option F. This is a Fibonacci. That's a big, we're going to do it from a lower point because I want to see on this most recent drop where we're at. Now we can see, okay, so this came right, I'm going to pull this over so we can actually see it. There we go. So this is getting rejected right at the 0.5, which is also specifically right in line with this resistance, but we're going to come on the smaller time frames. I didn't realize we were on the 3-day because we want to see what's happening. We want to see what's happening in the next few days. We want to look at what's going on. And the reason why I'm going on, I end up on these large time frames is because I want you all to make sure that you have a habit of going from your macro to your midterm to your micro, so that you can always make sure, no matter how many times you've looked at the macro, sometimes you see new things. Sometimes you just need to remind yourself of the trend that you're in, because you might be zoomed in on this saying, if we look at this just like this, it's like we're in a bull trend. Yes, but we're in a bull trend within a bear trend within a bull trend, right? Whatever, you need to understand the trends that you're in so that you understand the forces at work, the forces that you're battling. So now we've looked at the macro. We're going to do the rest of these charts just on the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart because I want to go through these quickly. So we can see we're going to take it from this high point right here. We're going to do option F. If you're on PC, it's Alt F, and that gives you a Fibonacci. And we can come right here. This is finding resistance right here at the 382. I'm going to do one more fib just from this level because it's a more local level. And it shows on this one. Yeah, we already blasted through look at this interactivity right here at the golden pocket. Golden pocket is the area that the price action tends to have the most interactivity with. This is why you want to identify that. And if you don't have that on your fibs, just open up your Fibonacci tool, which is over here on the left. You go to fib retracement. And then once you're on the chart, you can double click on it and make sure you can select and deselect some of these. Make sure you have the 0.618 selected. And you can change any one of these, make a 0.65. Make sure it's on, and then you can also adjust that background here to make sure, depending on how you want your chart to look. I just like mine to be clean. Okay, so what we want to see here is this price action coming from this breakdown point is coming basically to this 382. Now, we can experiment. TA is an art. You can do it subjectively based on different levels that you want to see why there's price interaction going at different levels. And we could see this was the last sort of breakdown point from this point that we broke down. And on this look, we can see, that we have price coming right into the golden pocket right here. So this golden pocket also has a lot of price interactivity right here where there's support and then resistance, as we can see right in these zones. Now, if we zoom out here, we can see this sort of zone. I'm just going to do right here. I'm just going to kind of split it. Option J gives me a horizontal ray, and we can see. Come on, VPVR. There we go. There's a lot of this golden pocket. We can see has had a lot of interactivity with resistance, support, a lot of price interactivity here. And price has a magnet towards areas that there's been interest and liquidity that has been traded. Okay, so sorry, I was getting some notifications here. So what we're seeing here, we are seeing on the 4-hour, if we look here, let's look at this look. We have this rounding sort of top here. We see rounding top, momentum was lost. We got a rejection at this resistance line. It came down. We're finding support at these sort of key levels here. And we can also see that we basically bounced at this VPVR level of support. But now we're having a bit of there's a bit of a volume gap right in here. We're pushing into this zone where there's going to be a lot of volume again. And we know that because we had this line back where there's been all this support and resistance that's been across the chart. So we're coming to levels that are a little bit of resistance based on previous volume. However, this is also the golden pocket. So what we want to do on this is map out where potential, if this does fall, if this does have a pullback, option F to a Fibonacci from there to the top. We could see if we zoom out on this, the level would be right here, this 382 sort of level. And then down to 1978, 19 cents, 78, in terms of having a pullback. What I'd like to see happen is when we're looking at what's going on with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin blasts through the zone and we don't, this is basically false signals and we just have bullish rocket ship up from here, then I expect to see alts likely follow that direction as well. So if Bitcoin does get that pullback though, then I am expecting to see a stronger pullback from the altcoins. And that is having this price action come back, as I said, down to 20 cent level. Next stop below that would be 1966. Now, looking at where the potentiality of where this could go up from here, then we can go, let's see, we're going to go option F. And from that level, from this breakdown point right here, we're going to go, I'm going to move this down. This breakdown point right here, all the way down, And we can see this had an interaction with this golden pocket rejection, broke through. The next level on this would be, of course, having some sort of pit stop at this sort of 24 cents level. And then 26, 27 for, which would be the 1.618. And then the 2.618 would be the 31.36 level up here. So that would be the positive targets. Those would be the next two spots that I would be looking for upside price action. That's Algorand. Now looking at, I believe I saw some people talking about Cardano. So we got to do the Cardano. We could see that this had this huge descending sort of trend line right here that as soon as this broke out, this was also, it wasn't just Bitcoin. So as you notice, it's not like the altcoins are just moving just because Bitcoin moved. We can also see that there's been a long line of resistance on Cardano this entire way down. Now we even see, look at all these red flags on the hidden volume. If we look at this, these are bearish divergences on hidden volume. Essentially, when you think of divergences on the volume, that is saying there's not fuel to sustain. When you see bearish divergence on volume, you're saying that there's not fuel to sustain at this price level. Price action is likely going to go lower. So we had a lot of these dominate all through here, and then right here, look at this. We're kind of going back and forth here, but then we get a bullish divergence on the volume. While we also have a neutral zone, we had this whole area, all of this area was showing that this was oversold, oversold, oversold. Why do I know that? Because on the blue wave down here, which is the combination of momentum and stochastics and stochastic RSI and all these different momentum indicators are basically aggregated and gone through, its own sort of calculation of looking at a multitude of different momentum indicators. And when they're all showing oversold across and above a moving average, then you get this blue flag showing likely trend floors, or at least very oversold areas. We see this here as this goes blue. We get the bounce at the blue floor. We get the bounce at the blue floor. Blue floor, similar right here. This was just going oversold for quite some time, and then as soon as we get these, we start getting these bullish RSI, bullish volume divergences, bullish volume divergence, and neutral. Boom, this breaks through, rockets up. Now with this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to do option F from the top here all the way to the bottom there, and look at exactly, I can't make this up. Look exactly where we're pausing, right at the golden pocket. Master your golden pockets, everybody. They really do you, they really are such a tool in the space, and there's so much price interactivity with golden pockets. And we also see here this had interactivity right here at the 382. And for anybody that just wants to, because you could set these up however you want. I have because you can have a lot of lines up. I just have the 0 and the 1, so you can see the top and the bottom, and then a 382, a 618, and the 6.5. This is the golden pockets right here, and then a 1.618. These can be in whatever order. They're going to show up in the right order on the screen. And then a 1.618 for an extension, a 2.618 for an extension, and a 3.618 for an extension. This is how you could project those targets into the future where price action might likely go. So in this case, this is where we broke down from. This is where this is the level that we need to contend with right now. And look at where this golden pocket is. It's also perfectly in line with where we had resistance right here, previous resistance right here, support right here. You see all this? It's all lining up, which gives me indication that this level is a correct level for this golden pocket. Now, this is also showing, if we kind of zoom out here, this is also showing that we're kind of in sort of a little bit of a volume gap right now. So there's a stronger likelihood. If I zoom out a little bit more, it might not be. Let's go on the daily. Okay. Harder to see on that level. We're going to go back into the 4-hour. So what I want to see here is things are following Bitcoin quite a bit. So I'm looking at, if we're getting that small pullback, then we know the level right here on this push up. We're right at a level that makes sense, is golden pocket. So now So now we can essentially come over here and do another fib from the bottom. So when you do a fib from the top to the bottom, you're seeing what the likely bounce, where the likely bounce can go to. When you do a Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, you can see where the likely pullback can go to. This is how you do the difference, this is how you can use them in different ways for, bounces to the upside and pullbacks to the downside. So from the bottom to the top here, we can see that if this does break down, we want to look at, I'm going to move this over just a little bit. There we go. So if this does break down from here, this golden pocket, then I'm looking at, if we're on the more bullish narrative, if this is just a healthy pullback, pulling back to roughly 34 cents, if they're really sort of testing the nature of the bulls, having a pullback down here to basically 32.5, 32.7, this area right in here. Now, if we pull back to this level and lose this level, then I'm looking for downside targets. But today we're talking bullish, because that's what's going on in the markets. We look like we're even still at the moment, even getting even more of a push. We're having the attempt. So as we're having these attempts to the upside, I am, I don't want to say ignoring these bearish divergences, but they give me hesitation, but I'm not pulling and I'm not exiting trades just based on that. You have trailing stop losses. If you already are in a trade from down here and you had a stop loss that was set up here because you're already in profit, there's no problem in moving your stop loss up here somewhere into a tighter range or somewhere closer to where we're at now, so that you can stay in profit no matter what. And that way, if this does roll all the way back over, you took advantage of that profit. And even if this pulls back and you get stopped out, you're all the way in profit. And now you have more capital to trade with in your next trade. If you're not taking profits along the way, how do you expect to grow your portfolio? It's not just about getting in one big trade that you're riding for the entire bull run. Now, you can do that in your long-term HODL portfolio. Now, this is not financial advice. This is a strategy. These are different strategies that I've learned, that I've talked with other successful, wealthy analysts and financial strategists about. That if you're not taking profit along the way, then what's the purpose of even doing it? Having strategies to where you have an allocation of your portfolio that you trade with. And every time you take profits, for me, I put 30% into my 30% of my profits into my long-term HODL portfolio. So that's just my long portfolio. It's always going to be long. Now, and then I keep 30% in my trading portfolio. And then depending on how aggressive the market is, how exuberant, like for instance, in a very strong bull market, I'm taking smaller allocations into my personal bank account. But in the bear market, I'm leaving the majority of it within my trading portfolio, as I'm building that sort of dry powder, and I'm building that trading portfolio to really capitalize when the market really starts running. And then as the market starts running, then you are taking some of those allocations and you're taking them and putting them into long-term HODL portfolio. Even taking some out of the market altogether, taking your wife on a trip, taking your husband on a trip, paying off your house, using the systems and tools that you're learning to navigate the crypto ecosystem so that it can better your life. That's what this is all about. So now looking at Cardano here. Again, I'm looking at if this pulls back, I want it to stay above 32 cents. If it loses 32 cents, then I'm looking at downside targets. Now, in terms of an extension on this, I'm seeing that if we break through this golden pocket area here, which is right in this 37 cents sort of range that we're at now, then next target, I'm looking for Cardano to gun up to. We're gonna have a pit stop here because of the volume profile. Right about 38 cents. But I want it to overtake, and there's going to be some headwinds here. There's going to be some resistance at the 40, basically just shy of 40 cents, right about 40.51. But if we are able to take those levels, then our 1.618, our targets, 47.49, which is a Okay, come on. Which is a 30% move from here. Alrighty, so let me see. I got an alert. Just want to make sure the alerts are all good. Okay, I see a but thank you, irate specialist. I appreciate it. Shout out to all the mods. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and shout out. This is specifically for the mods. They do such a great job of helping me you know, basically keep this running as it should, and, you know, letting me know what's going on in chat and let me know when there's errors and all these sorts of things. So we can see right now that there is a little bit of a hesitation with some bearish divergences, but the market is running on the medium machine right now with the CPI, with the hype coming into the market. So on that note, I do want to just take a look real quick over here. And just shout out again. I'm so proud of this. This is a chart that I created. This is an on-chain metric I made, the Bitcoin trend fib opportunity zones. This is a Fibonacci extensions of the realized price. And it gives, and I've been using this for about 2 years and worked with looknode.com. And they integrated it into their basically cycle valuations area. But what we've done right now is we've gotten back into this band right here, and this band right here is a capitulation. It's a capitulation or hope zone. So as we can see, if we actually turn all this off, turn all this stuff off. Okay, now, so we can see this capitulation zone. This is right here. Once price broke that level, that was boom, capitulation. But similarly, once price got back above this, this is that hope. You know, you're getting into that disbelief, hope. You're getting, oh my God, we're going actually bullish again. Similarly, right here, capitulation. Once we broke back above it, full bull. That's exactly where we're at right now. We're fighting at that level of that hope zone, and we've broken back through it. So the reason I say that while we're doing technical analysis is there is hope coming into the market. We just want to make sure that as we're looking at these other metrics, that the hope isn't only in the short-term holders. It's not only with the people that are weak hands in the market. And as we can see right here, we do want short-term holders and retail to come in, of course, but it needs to be in combination with long-term holder-minded people. Otherwise, the market is weak at those levels. And we're seeing a lot of short-term holder position change coming in at this level. Now let's, this means that they are accumulating. Now let's look at the long-term holder supply, or actually long-term holder position change. So we are seeing, let's sort of zoom in on this. Okay, we are still seeing, we're not quite seeing exactly what I want yet, but this chart might be a day or two delayed. Okay, so this is 3 days delayed. So let's check. We're actually, let's see, March 12th. So, okay, so 2 days delay. We're going to check back in on this because we want to make sure that we have some healthiness coming into the market as this happens. So now as we look at all of this stuff, we want to, we have a couple more charts that we want to do. Macro, GRT, Kusama. Oh, okay, so let's go ahead and look at Optimism. We got that right here, all the way at the bottom, I believe. Yeah, Optimism. Boom. Man, I was so mad. I was looking right here, picking up Optimism, but I didn't really have that much dry powder on the side because I was just allocating so heavily in other projects. You have to pick the things. You can't just have, you know, everything. You've got to pick where you're going to place your chips, and it is a healthy consideration. So when we're looking at this, we can see we're gonna see this level right here, option J. We're gonna sort of move this over. Now we see this level, option J. Delete that. Okay, now what we can see here is we want to look at from this move, option F, come all the way down. Now we're kind of right there at the 786, and we can see that there's actually a high volume node here. We are getting some bearish divergence, but we're also getting bullish divergence on the volume that kind of launched this move here. we had bearish divergence on the bullish divergence on the volume right here, showing volume was coming in faster than the price was moving up, giving basically bullish strength. This is also went through this EMA ribbon. This is on the market intelligence, and we see these high pivot, low pivot, high pivot. These are, if you're not utilizing these within the BitLab market intelligence, you should really pay attention to them, because they're really excellent signals in the market. And we can see right here that as we got the bullish divergence on volume, we also had the relative extreme. Oh, look at this, sticking way out. This is a slingshot to the upside. And what happens? Then we also get a low pivot as well as two more bullish divergences, and the price rockets to the upside yet again. So we are seeing the narrative being focused right now on how mad people are at banks. There's bank runs going on. This is what Bitcoin and crypto is made for. And it's not just these things to be the case. When we look at Bitcoin from the last 2.5 years, we can see on the 3-day, let's look at the weekly chart. This is something that was loading forever. This is something, this was, you know, basically this descending wedge was set to, descending wedges are bullish in structure. So by breaking down, the likelihood of a bullish breakout is higher with the descending wedge, in addition to the fact that we are on this 4-year cycle that we've talked so much about. So we need to pay attention to not just what's going on in the news. We need to be better about paying attention to what's going on in the charts, because the charts were telling us these things are happening. So now let's continue looking at optimism. So if we do have some sort of pullback, we're going to do option F. We're going to, we already have a fib there. So, this is, okay. So this is a fib. We broke through. Man, I wish I would have gotten more optimism. We broke through this golden pocket right here. Now the fib extension, if this were to continue to the upside, it would be all the way at $4.93. This is 1.618, and this would also be, I believe. Let me look. I believe this would be. Other than just where they launched at, we can just ignore that. I believe this would be an all-time high if we were to get up to this level for $4.93. But I mean, looking at this on the weekly, look at this bull flag. This is pretty crazy. So we can do option T, that gives us to measure the pull, and we could see. Man, this is set to do some monster things, especially with their partnership with Coinbase. So if we look at this back on the 4-hour, we have to make note. We can't just be moon boys. If this were to pull back, option F, let's go here to the top there. I'd be looking at a pullback right at this level, $2.56, $2.57. This would be the bullish case for this to find support here and continue the upside. The invalidation point for bullish narrative is if we break down to the $2.25 level. If we lose this level, I'm looking for lower sides. So this is how we're mapping these things out. Now we got, let's do, we have not done Crow yet on this channel, so we'll do Crow. Let's do, I don't want to do it on KuCoin with all their controversy. So we're going to do, man, this is, all right. So this is pushing all the way through the EMA ribbon, as you can see in the background. This is on the 4-hour. So we can, I'm going to do 2 fibs. We're going to have to experiment here. So yeah, this makes sense. So from this level here, this sort of breakdown point, this is pushing right into the 0.5. If we were to do the fib from here, basically the point at which, you know, this move broke down from, we could see that this paused at this golden pocket and is basically fighting the 786. So what we want to see here is we want to see this reach, basically break through this level of 77.9 cents, basically just shy of 8 cents, because we got a pretty big volume node right here, this point of control. So there's going to be a lot of price interactivity resistance in this zone, basically from 7.9 cents all the way up to 8.2 cents. So coming through this, and you know, even from this move, look at this, from here to the bottom here, the 1.618 is this previous high right here. So look at how well this lines up. So if we are able to take over this level, I am looking at attacking this level up here, which would be 9.3 cents. Now, if we were to do this level from here, then we could see that the 1.618 would be all the way up to 11 cents. So we want to watch what's going on with Bitcoin. We want to watch what's going on with, you know, are there going to be massive pullbacks? Now we're going to look at, I think somebody said GRT. Man, Gala is just ripping too. But again, this is very similar. Let's go ahead and mute market intelligence. Very similar to Cardano, how we had that long descending, and as soon as we break through it. So we're going to go ahead and delete this fib. We're going to come all the way from this level, option F. If you're on PC, it's Alt F. Look at this. We're right in the golden pocket. So if we get rejected here, I'm hoping that we find some sort of support at the 3.8 cents, this 382. But mind you, we do have this this sort of trend line that we could very well get rejected, come all the way back down and test this down, you know, somewhere in the 3.2 cents. I wouldn't really want to see that happen. It's also because I'm holding GRT, sorry, Gala, but I'm playing it either direction. I'm accumulating. If this were to come down, I would be adding to my positions on this. But it's all speculative on what's going on with Bitcoin. So barring other news and developments that happen with these projects themselves as well. But if we get through this golden pocket here, then the next stop would be, of course, this 786, because look at this, all this price interactivity, and we see this high volume node right here on the VPVR on the right. And so the next stop above this, if we push through, is 4.7, 4.8 cents, up to 5.2 cents. And then the 1.618 would be all the way up to 66, almost said 66 cents. That would be quite the payday for a lot of people. 6.6 cents, almost 6.7. So up here at this level, that is, yeah, basically 6.8 cents. So this is all a lot of these altcoins are sitting right there at those golden pockets. And Bitcoin itself is sitting right against that. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's go auto so we can actually read what's happening. Today, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as we're in this sort of zone, going into this resistance up here at these levels. Because I mean, this has just been a rocket ship. So you know, some liquidations. We can actually look at that. Let's look at CoinGlass. CoinGlass. We can go to liquidations. Now we can come down. Now let's do symbol period. Let's do 4 hours. And we can see, look at all these short liquidations. Let's actually go to 12 hour. So look, this is a market eating people alive that are just trying to be greedy. So long liquidations as the price breaks down, and the price breaks down quickly. And then short liquidations, this is what these bars are to the downside. 139 million in short liquidations as price rockets up. Come sideways, we're having people liquidated both. And when you have this small of price action and people are getting liquidated, it's because they're doing 40x, 60x, 80x. Very poor risk management. And then you see this here where price breaks down. We have all these long liquidations. Basically washes them out. This is how much? This is 241 million in long liquidations, $100 million in long liquidations. And then over here, now we have people going short. Once it commits people to think the market is breaking down, we retest that that $20,000 area, and then we start getting all these short liquidations, to 147 million, 43 million, 134 million short liquidated, 28 million. 128 million. Man, I got allergies here in Georgia. But you see what I'm saying here when we're talking about what's going on with the market. I want you all to practice healthy trading, healthy strategy within this market, so that you can protect your capital and that you can be a beacon of light in your life for everybody that, many of us are the only people in our families that do crypto. So if we succeed, we become somebody that attracts more people into the crypto ecosystem. If we practice poor strategy and poor risk management and aren't patient and don't have a plan, and we lose money rather than profiting money, then we become another reason why that, the group of people around us are going to be more adverse to becoming within this a part of this ecosystem. So I want you all to practice healthy trading strategy, and I want you all to win. That's what this is all about. Shout out to everybody in chat. I'm seeing some super chats in here. I really appreciate it. I'm not used to seeing these because this is, we just got the channel monetized. So shout out to Jeanette. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Anna.com, found super chat. Hi, Kelly. Great info. Can you show DYDX if you have time? You know what? It's going to be the last one I'm going to do because I do have to sign off because we have to hit over to the other. I got to send it over to my to the Hit Network. We can do DYDX. Let's do it. DYDX. DYDX. Let's do this. This is perpetual. I want to actually just do. Let's see. Here we are. So similar thing. We're going to do. So here we are. Now we got the chart up. Option F gives us a Fibonacci. We're pushing right into the golden pocket. You're going to see a lot of the same sort of plays on a lot of these coins right here. Similarly, just like Cardano and all the other ones, we had this sort of descending trend line. Descending trend line that we broke out of on DYDX. I would say if we come down to the bottom, option F, bottom to the top, the pull down, I would not want to see this. Same thing, 382. If this pulls back on, for a bullish sort of push, I'd like to see something around the $2.34. If this does lose that level, then there's more of a bull. It's starting to lean more bearish. If it gets down into the $2.13 level, this is the golden pocket on the breakdown. If it loses this level, I'm not going to relate this as much to bearishness. I'm going to relate this more to what's going on in the broader crypto markets. Because all eyes right now are on Bitcoin for whether or not this is going to be a healthy move. Are we going to see follow through? Are we going to get up into that area right here in the this basically macro resistance zone? Looking at last look at the BitLab market intelligence, we are overheated. We're seeing some bearish divs that are playing out. But when we're looking at a moment like today, when there's just an irrational moves, an irrational sort of context within the market, then what you want to do is you want to let the narrative play itself out and see how strong this bullish narrative is. We see that there's a lot of long liquidations. So are there going to be, I mean, look at this on the daily. On the pullback gives you the definition as to what the bullish or bearish narrative is. If this is a rejection, then that's not a pullback. If we get a small pullback from here and find support in this sort of 382 level above this sort of region right here, and which would be very healthy, let some of the momentum indicators reset themselves and then launch from there. That's what I want to see that bullish continuation up to $30,000. And with that, big love to everybody. Shout out my man Nick Core in the house. Thank you for the super chat. He may or may not, he absolutely does, have a huge part in these indicators, and me and him are working tirelessly trying to get some really great updates. And Nick, I'll be talking with you right after the show so we can get on some of those updates, some cool things here. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat for being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Let us come and be a part of our community so we could be a part of your community. Big love to everybody. I've got to close this one out. Hit that subscribe button. Ding that bell, join our community. Again, my name's Kelly Kellam. Thank you for being a part of the BitLab daily stream, and we will see you in the next show. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here again. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here again and again and again and a mother again and again.